I'm Ralph Grizzle, the avid cruiser. For more than 2 decades, I've cruised the 7 seas on some of the world's most luxurious ships. I write about my experiences on avidcruiser.com. My goal is to help people like you make informed decisions about your cruise vacations. Join me today in an exciting new mini-series as I explore the most popular cruise destinations around the world. My name is Ralph Grizzle, and I am the Avid Cruiser. Welcome to Marseille. This is a gateway port to a lot of wonderful experiences. The UNESCO World Heritage Sites of Avignon, the world-class swans of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, the charm of Aix-en-Provence. There's a lot more, but there's also Marseille itself, and that's where our story and our journey begins. Marseille is France's second largest city and the country's oldest city. It has a history that dates back to ancient Greek times. Today, Marseille is home to a mix of cultures that make the city a cosmopolitan melting pot. Stroll along the shop-lined streets in search of designer fashion, or simply relax at one of the many fountains. The best way to enjoy Marseille is simply to allow yourself to absorb its Mediterranean character. The old port of Marseille is a busy and bustling place, and it has been for quite some time. Over the centuries, tens of thousands of merchant ships came here, and this was an important center of commerce for Marseille and all of France. Today, the old port is primarily a tourist destination. It's great for taking a seat in a street cafe or going shopping. So come along with me and let's take a look at the old port of Marseille. Marseille was guarded by 2 forts that protected the main harbor. Today, the main harbor attracts thousands of yachts. The old port is the perfect place for a stroll along the wide promenade or to have a bite to eat in any of the cafes that line the waterfront. In fact, the old port has been a hub of trade activity since the ancient Greeks first landed here in 600 BC. When you're walking through here, it's hard to believe that the old port was badly bombed in World War II. Today, it's a jewel in the crown of Marseille. This magnificent structure behind me is Notre Dame de la Garde. It's situated at the highest point of the city, and it dominates the Marseille skyline. There isn't a better place in the city to take beautiful photos. But we came here to see the inside, so let's go take a look. Notre Dame de la Garde's Byzantine interior is striking. Built on an ancient fortress, the church was dedicated to the Virgin Mary and consecrated in 1864. Giant arches frame the ornate ceiling and the beautiful dome. This is a seafarer's church with paintings and votives depicting the dangers of the sea and the desire for loved ones to return safely from their world journeys. The church is part museum, part lighthouse, part fortress, and part a sacred place of pilgrimage. And it's a must-see for anyone visiting Marseille. This beautiful city on the Rhone is one of my favorites, and this bridge behind me is the Pont Saint-Benazet. It's also known as the Pont d'Avignon. It inspired the French fairy tale Sur le Pont d'Avignon. We're going to go up on the bridge, and we're also going to go into the walled city to explore the Pope's Palace and a lot more. So let's get going. Avignon's historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Situated on the Rhone River, the medieval walled city practically pulses with life inside the walls. Avignon is a city for living, but with a fascinating story to tell. From its impressive Pope's Palace that was once the seat of Catholicism, to a bridge that's captured the imagination of millions of people over the ages. This is one of the most famous bridges in the world. It's the Pont d'Avignon. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people come to walk on this bridge every day. And the odd thing is, it doesn't really go anywhere. That's because it was built back in the 1100s, destroyed many times, rebuilt, and this is what remains of the bridge. So come walk with me on the Pont d'Avignon. There's something magical about this ancient bridge, and indeed, it's captured the imagination of millions of children throughout the world. In the happy song Sur le Pont d'Avignon, various members of French society, ladies, gentlemen, soldiers, and musicians, meet on the bridge and do a little dance. At the beginning of the 12th century, the seat of Catholicism was not in Rome, it was actually here in Avignon. Now, during the 14th century, this papal residence was home to a succession of 9 popes. Let's go around and take a look at this magnificent building. The Pope's Palace is one of the largest and most important medieval Gothic buildings in all of Europe. It was once a fortress and a palace, and in 1309, it became the home to 7 successive popes. The Avignon popes worshipped here in the Grand Chapel. It's impressive and humbling, and it will leave you in awe. This impressive building wasn't the only thing that the popes left behind here in Avignon. They also left behind the legacy of an internationally acclaimed wine. And no trip to Avignon would be complete without a taste or two of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, or basically the Pope's wine. We have the popes to thank for this wine. When they established the Pope's Palace back in Avignon, they established vineyards here in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Now you have to come here to see this beautiful village and also to taste this exquisite wine. You wouldn't want to visit Provence without enjoying some of the best culinary experiences that the region has to offer. Now, there are lots of places to do that in and around Avignon, but we found a special place not far from the Pope's Palace and Avignon's other attractions. The Auberge de la Treille was like an oasis with fine food on a hot summer's day. This beautiful place, which looks like it could be out in the French countryside, is actually just a few minutes from Avignon city center. I've just finished up a 3-course meal here, ending with a cheese plate and a glass of rosé wine. This is life in Provence at its best, and to that I say, santé. From world-class wines to UNESCO World Heritage Sites to stunning landscapes like this one and medieval walled cities, Avignon is a place that should be on your bucket list, and I would say sooner rather than later. Aix-en-Provence exudes the essence of Provence. Here you'll find inviting street cafes, fragrant floral displays, tempting pastries, and picture postcard streets with beautiful architecture and endless fountains. With its wide sidewalks, its beautiful buildings, this tree-lined street known as Cours Mirabeau is something that shouldn't be missed when you're visiting Aix-en-Provence. You could spend hours pointing your camera to frame beautiful snapshots here. The elegant facades of the gracious 17th and 18th century mansions are simply stunning. Aix-en-Provence is often referred to as the city of 1,000 fountains. One fountain not to miss is the Fountain of the Four Dolphins, carved in Baroque style in 1667. If you plan to visit only one church, we know just the one. It's located on the route of the old Roman road, and it even has fragments of an old Roman wall. Step inside a Roman Catholic cathedral that was built on the site of a 1st century Roman forum. This impressive structure is the San Savour Cathedral. It was built on the site of an ancient Roman forum. One of its distinguishing characteristics is its contrasting styles of architecture. Romanesque, Gothic, and Neo-Gothic. You can see it all here. Modern-day travelers have grown accustomed to seeing churches and cathedrals like this one. But can you imagine being a person more than 1,000 years ago walking into this building? It would have humbled you. And in fact, it still does. Our time here has come to an end. We learned that Marseille is a wonderful cruise destination full of history and also the gateway to UNESCO World Heritage Sites, world-class wines, and the charm of Provence. But to experience all of that, you'll have to come for yourself. I'm Ralph Grizzle, and I look forward to seeing you in the next beautiful destination.